Hi, it's Steve. Today we'd like to show you how to change the water filter base on your refrigerator. It's a really easy job. Let me show you how we do it. Now to do this repair, the first thing we'll need to do is to turn off power to the refrigerator. So either pull it far enough forward that you can unplug it, or locate the electrical panel, turn off the appropriate breaker, or remove the appropriate fuses. You may also wish to disconnect or turn off the inlet water supply to your refrigerator as well. Once we've done that, we'll open the refrigerator up and we'll remove some items on the shelf. Now we've removed the upper shelf here to give us a little more room to work. And we'll need to remove this control housing to access the part. So before we begin, we suggest we take the water filter out. It just lessens the weight of that. So simply remove it and set it aside. Now our next step will be to remove this cover at the back here that covers the water lines and fits into the back of the control housing. And it's held in place with a 1/4-inch hex head screw. Just let that lower down and then pull it slightly forward to disengage the 2 hooks that attach it to the back of the control housing. Now we'll set that aside. Now this will expose a single screw in the back here that we need to remove. Swap into that opening. And again, it's a 1/4-inch hex head screw. Now next, we suggest that you disconnect the 2 water lines that fit into the back of the water filter holder. And you'll note that there are 2 little collars there. And to release those water lines, we're going to push that collar in towards the holder while pulling outward on the tubing. Now you can use a little open end wrench or a pair of needle nose pliers just to press in on that and then pull the tubing away. There will probably be some water in those lines, so you'll need something to collect that. Now, once we have the water lines disconnected, our next step will be to remove 3 more screws across the front of that control housing. Remove the screw at the front, and there's another one at the rear that we can just loosen a couple of turns. Now, before we remove that control housing to drop that down, it may be a good idea to remove the 2 retaining screws for that filter holder while the whole assembly is in place, or you can choose to do it after you lower it down. There are 2 Phillips screws. We're simply going to remove those completely. And now we'll go ahead and remove the screws for the control housing. Loosen this one on the back, just a few turns. Now if you have difficulty accessing the one on the side towards the front here, just remove the light bulb first. Now as you remove the last screw in that control housing, you'll want to support the weight of it. And carefully lower that housing down and allow it to twist a little bit to the right. Now once we've done that, we'll next need to remove 2 screws that hold these little clamps in place for the ejector lever. So we'll need to remove those 2 screws first. Just lift the little guides and screws off of the housing. Now with the guides removed, we'll next just take one hand and hold that filter base and pull it towards you till it clears the holes at the back of the housing. And then while supporting that actuator arm, we're going to rotate that filter base to disengage the arm from the slotted hole on the side of it. We can then discard that old filter base. Now when installing the new filter base, we'll begin by fitting that actuator arm through the opening. Then position the filter base as such, and then hook that T-hook on the end of the actuator arm into the lever on the side of that filter base. Rotate it down until it's flat, and then fit it through the openings in the back. Now next we'll put the guides back in place. Make sure they straddle that actuator arm, and then install the retaining screw. Just ensure with the one closest to the front that we don't catch the spring by mistake. The compression spring should be forward of that guide. So tighten both of the screws. And now we can secure the housing to the ceiling of the fresh food compartment, or you may choose to install the 2 screws that secure that filter base to the housing first. Now as we lift that housing up into place, we suggest that you may want to put the single screw towards the front on that side housing in place first. So fit the screw into the hole first until you can see it protrude through the back side of it. And once the screw pokes through that, you can then sight down on the side of it until you find the opening in the sidewall, and then start that screw. Now once that one's in place, just lift the housing up to the ceiling, support the weight of it, and then install one of the retaining screws along the front. And again, you can look through the top side to line up the screw, and then tighten it to secure. Now with the control housing secured to the ceiling, our next step will be to secure that filter base to that housing. So begin by pushing that ejector arm all the way back, and then grasp the back side of that filter base so that you can pull it tight up against the back wall. And take one of the mounting screws Come up through the bottom, and then while looking through that filter opening, you'll be able to line up that screw with the hole in that filter base. And before we tighten it, we'll put the second one in. Again, just grasp one of the outlets or inlets of that filter base to support it. Once we've started the screw, we can release it and tighten them securely. Now next we'll need to reconnect the water lines. The tan colored one will be closest to the side wall of the cabinet. And to reinstall those, we'll first just inspect the end, make sure there's no burrs on them. And we'll fit it into the back of that filter housing and then pull it straight towards us until it bottoms out. Do the same for the opposite one. Keep it straight as you're pushing it in. And now we can put the rear cover in place. Now to install this rear cover, we want to line up those two tabs with the openings in the back of the filter housing. Fit it up over top of the tubing and install the retaining screw. Tighten it securely. Reinstall the water filter. Reset our controls. Remember to reinstall the light bulb if you removed it. We can then put our shelving back in and close up the refrigerator. We're now ready to turn on the inlet water supply, reconnect the power, and your repair is complete.